Hey guys, Coach Hug here. Good to see you guys. This is for the Friday lesson. I hope you guys are doing good, team. And here we're doing something a little special off from doing like chess structures. I have a playlist. If you guys are, I don't know if you guys have or have not watched the other videos other than the coaching lessons, but it's about tournament review. And in those, I already have those notes set up. I've done in-depth analysis. I go back to them occasionally when I'm about to do a tournament, and etc. etc. But for this one, it's just we'll maybe make notes, but not really that much. Like I'll say where I would have inserted a note. But this is for your guys's how I see one way you guys could do tournament review. You could do it adjacent. I also show that some of the stuff that I'm doing is through a paywall. I'm pretty sure chess.com you can do the classroom feature, but I want to show you other ways that you can do analysis. You can use Lead Chess or PGNs, insert the PGN from chess.com into other software to do analysis, or if you have chess.com membership, this is analysis you can do. And yeah, here we go. So I've done, this was, I think, start of February, a quad, maybe even earlier. And we're going to go through them in order. This is my first game. I'm going to say rating. It can give perspective. I think I was a 1900. I'm going against like a 2000 rated person. And I think this is after the Michigan Open. And here we go. They go d4. I go knight f6. They go knight f3. I go e6. And they go bishop f4. Going into this is I think having like a little history can help a little bit. I actually was performed horribly against the London in the Michigan Open in the tournament before this, so I didn't actually have, I was a little nervous, but I've done a lot of prep in the London before this, so in a way, preparing to not to lose. So I think it actually really helped me in this game. By the way, tell me guys if you like the eval bar or not with this thing. So yeah, they go bishop f4, I go d5, they go e3, and then they go bishop. I go bishop d6, countering this powerful bishop that they have. They go bishop g3, saying that if I take, they go here, which you can play this setup in some cases, and if you guys are interested, you should. I castle. They go knight b d2. I go c5. They go c3, strengthening their structure. I then go queen b6. I have a plan. You should have a plan for certain openings. How long and how in depth you go into it is how you guys should go for it. But here, I actually love the way I play against the London. I honestly try to do it where I'm basically I'm trying to word how I say this. I'm trying to keep as much tension, right? But I'm also like never really taking this unless they either like tell me where they're castling. I also do it in a way where I think it's actually productive to put these threats onto them while they're struggling, while they still haven't castled. So then, yeah, they go rook b1, I go a5. In a tournament game recently, I'd make a note here. I did cxd4. This is an inaccuracy, and really it only helps their structure. It doesn't really benefit me at all. It kind of just benefits me to keep this tension. But in other tournament games, I struggled with thinking that I had to do this to develop this light square bishop, which was wrong. And I kind of improve on this. They go bishop d3, developing. I go knight b d7. Again, I've developed pretty well. I've castled. The only thing I haven't developed is here. Well, they haven't castled and developed their queen. I very much like my position. They castle. I then go bishop xg3. This is my plan. I actually want this structure, but only after they've castled. Because if they haven't castled and I take here, like let's say I don't go knight b d7, let's say I take here, guys. Look at that, 0.9. 0.9. So this is a mistake you guys maybe shouldn't make when you have this. Like sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's not. Because what happens is they go hx. And this is just such a beautiful pressure against the h7 pawn. It's really hard to go against. But after knight b d7 and the castle, this is a completely different situation. And they take, And here, I actually really like my position. I'm not really going to go cxt4. Really, I just need to develop this. And this is something, again, I played the London recently, so it really helped me figure out what was I supposed to develop this in those games. Really, it just wanted me to go queen c7, and then I was thinking, is this the exact same? And maybe it wasn't the exact same, but I could see that I could transfer that idea from a past game into this game, where you go queen c7, b6, and you develop the bishop like this. And that's what would happen. He went rook e1, preparing e4, a common break in this. I go b6, they then go e4. And here, this can honestly look a little difficult for black, in that you're like, they're getting everything they want, but it's not like black isn't without counterplay. I really can just take the pawn. I really had to think for a minute. I think part of me was thinking like knight g4 shenanigans, but it just never works. Or knight e8. I think knight e8's even worse, yeah. Because I think they even, what do? They just go e5, cramping? Yeah, and they just have such pressure. So you really have to look at only this move. And I'm trying to think if there's any other moves here. You can do knight x d4. I really don't like this. It doesn't hate me. It's actually interesting. Can they even go anything else here? They can go e5 here. That is kind of scary. That's actually a little bit what I was looking at during the game. But it doesn't even want them to do that. It actually wants them to go like knight x d4. And I still prefer this for white. With this way, with dx4, I'm basically telling them that they have to take with the knight or the bishop. And if they take with the bishop, I did just want to trade off that bishop, and I was happy. But instead, after knight, they did knight x d4. And here, basically, I was like, okay, I mean, I can now just go bishop b7. You know, I develop my bishop. I have everything I want. I may even get my rook to the d file, and I was really happy with my position. I even was accepting that if they went dx5, which I think they went queen e2. And basically, you think maybe this is slightly annoying, but really I have bishop x, and they don't have this, because then I can go bishop x f3, laser in their queen, and if they take, I then can take, and I'm up a full piece, so that would not work, if you're wondering. But they go queen e2. Let's turn off lines here. I then go knight xe4, bishop xe4, bishop xe4. I've really completed my development. I felt like there was really nothing else I could really do except trade off, and I am correct with this. They go queen x, I go take. I was trying to give an isolated too here, like if they took here, I was really happy with this, and it gives black like a slight edge, and I really thought I could play around this. With knight x, I was really saying that I can develop with rook d8, rook fd8, rook f8. Like, I felt really good about this. I went knight c5. I thought this was a very centralizing knight move. And I thought, like, there are slight tricks. Well, I guess here you can't go knight d2. Yeah, but I did like it. Like, I still thought I could go, like, queen b7 or queen d2, and I thought I was fine. But after queen e2, after knight c5, I went rook d8. And now I feel like I had control over the d file if he moves his knight. I felt like this structure really wasn't that bad compared to his structure. I thought his structure maybe was slightly worse. And after rook d8, he prepares it too. I go queen b7. Reason why is because I didn't double up like this, because then he just has this, right? And I almost did that in the game. I think even rook d7 he does knight b5. Yeah, and it's just slightly annoying. That's why when I do queen b7, I'm kind of preparing rook over. But he goes knight f3, contesting the file. I go rook d5, basically saying is if you go here, I just go here, and I'm putting pressure against this a2 pawn, and I still have control over the file. I think I can even do this. I just wasn't a huge fan of having an isolated d. So it is better to just do isolated d pawn, and it's better to just do queen x d5. But after c4, he kind of like says, no, I still want control of that file. So I bring it back. He goes knight e5. I then go queen c7. And now I like my queen better here because his knight has no threats of going to b5. Goes b3, strengthening his structure. I go f6, pushing away this knight. And you could say this is maybe a little weakening, but it really wasn't because I realized that I actually kind of want e5. I want whenever he goes f4, I can just take, take, right, and then I win a pawn, which he's not going to do. But I actually like f6, knight d3, e5 here. I thought it was, good for me, and it is pretty equal. They go knight takes c5, I go queen takes c5, and oh yeah, this this was very like dead even game. And here it goes into time trouble. I think he goes under 5. And basically what happens is we get a situation where all the rooks come off. It's really just king, queen, king. And he brings his queen to like f1, I think e2. And I basically do a draw by going like e4, b1, e4, b1. And there was really nothing else for me in that position. I'm pretty sure that there was nothing else for me in this position. And if you guys have a game review, I think this is like a perfect time to do game review. So if I can do that real quick. No. Can I? Can I really not do it from here? Okay. That's a little weird. What we'll do here is we'll, I think, duplicate this. Sorry, guys, for this a little. Yeah, we won't save that. But you could save when you are doing like analysis, and you can actually go through it. But here, I have it in my library, and then my tournament game review. And then, yeah, okay, we'll do that later. We'll do that later. Yeah, we'll go through the second game. But yeah, I'll just tell you guys. Actually, if you do the game review, it shows you the inaccuracies, it shows you the mistakes, it shows you all that. But if you have the eval, right, when you're going through the game and you have the eval bar up, it can basically tell you like, oh, I thought this was equal, but it actually wasn't. And that's when the perfect time to make a note and where this is what my thinking was. This is how I would have rethought about this strength or weakness that I had or my opponent had, and this is maybe the move I would have thought in the future. Right, like now, because of that previous game, I didn't realize I really could just go queen c7, b6, bishop b7. That's what a note I would have done in the previous game. But yeah, game review, I'll just tell you guys what the game review, we'll just do game review of all three when we're all done here with the classroom. But yeah, we'll go into the second game. So yeah, here, this is like a 22, just given perspective, this is like a 2200 playing black, and I was, again, 1900. And here we go, I go d4, they go d5, I go c4, they go knight c6, I go cx5, they go queen xd5. And this is an opening I've played with, like, I've played against them before, and I think I've done, like, knight f3, they go e5, I think go e3, and then they go e4. And it's actually supposed to be like a mistake, but it's honestly kind of hard to play as white, in my opinion. Because genuinely, this e4 pawn is very cramped. And it's not exactly the most fun to go against. And I didn't really want to go in that specific line. I actually wanted to deviate a little bit. So what I did was I did e3, and after e5, I went knight c3. This puts pressure on the queen, and I knew bishop b4 was happening, but I was okay with the a3 take structure, and I felt like this was an okay position. And he still goes e4. Taking here would have been still okay with me. We can go over that real quick. If they take, I think I would still have gone here. Oh no, it really does prefer this. I guess we don't want to open up my king. And see, this is what I would have making a note, because if I this is where I would say like here, and then if you guys can see it, there's a way to make a note with these here. You make a comment, and then you say something. You right click and you make a comment, and that's a way of doing it. But yeah, after that's, now I would have seen this, but I actually hate c4, mainly because you're supposed to say, okay, but I can just harass this and harass the queen. So yeah, I went rook b1. Mainly because I was thinking I could go rook here, but now I understand my thinking was wrong. And if I put up the lines, or if I even take away lines, I would have now tried to assess. It tells me with the lines, it tells me c4. I didn't like c4 in the game because I kind of thought queen a5 was slightly annoying, but apparently after bishop d2, he has to go like queen f5, and really I've developed. And this is now a position I think I would have rather seen, but with rook b1, it actually prefers queen a2. I never really thought this was a move. I thought it was very weird to put his queen there. I don't think he would have done this either way. I think he would have gone knight f6, which is what he did, and I think it's a better move. But now I see a line that I should have done, which was c4, and that's where I would have made a note. After c4 goes queen g5, I then go rook b5, and it is an okay move. They go queen g6, and this is where I thought for a long time, like a very long time. And I play the bad move. This is what can happen sometimes when you take too long. I went knight e2. This is an okay move. Is it after castle knight f4? No, I thought if I put up the lines, I thought h4. Oh yeah, okay. So you can go knight e2, but I actually prefer the line now when I looked over it, because I did look over it slightly, was h4. Was you're kind of threatening rook g5, and this queen is just really suffering the entire game. And if they go h6, I mean, you're actually still happy with like knight h3, or you could probably even go knight e2 now. But I did go knight e2, and it's still a good move. They castle. I go knight f4. They go queen h6. I go h3. This is where I now realize this was my mistake, because really, h4 after they've castled and no h6, this queen is just suffering the entire game. You can't go knight h5 because obviously my knight and my rook is defending it, and it's just not fun. And now if they go a6, which is an idea I should have saw earlier, I can go rook g5, and this is so weird to see this in like a middle game. And I didn't like it because I felt like my rook was going to get trapped. I thought some weird nonsense like knight d2, but then you really do just have bishop b2. That's hard to see. And see, this is hard to see and understand. And this is a position I'd go more in depth, because genuinely I thought maybe after bishop b2, f6, but after f6 you just have rook h5, and this is a beautiful queen trap. And if he also tries to go out like here, I just still have c5, and this queen is just not happy here. This queen is not surviving at the very least, or I basically have all my pieces somewhat developed. I may be threatening d5 at a certain point because this rook and bishop, and I would have to play on like this. So after this, I played h3, and I think I was scared of bishop g4, but the idea also is if I go h4 and they go bishop g4, I do just go f3, which is kind of crazy, or bishop e2. I think I would have seen bishop e2, because f3 seems a little crazy to me, because ex f3, gx f3, I think bishop d7, kind of likes rook a e8, which is crazy, because then I just win. Wait, what? Rook a e8, take, then he goes queen x f4 because I'm pinned on the king. So instead, after rook a e8, I would have to go king f2, and I would play on like this, and this would be a game. Because they can even go knight e4, I go king g2, and knight c3, queen d3, and yeah, this is where you go in the weeds a little bit, and you go into a position that you're not very sure how you're playing, because yes, my king's out in the center, but in no way am I ever playing this over the board. I think I can humanly see bishop e2, and now I see some of the merits to f3 that I would maybe look at, but I probably would have played bishop e2, even if this occurred again, because this one makes a little bit more sense to me. I may be threatening g4, g5, trapping the queen. may castle. I'm probably not still going to castle. Like, I'm still probably going to go bishop b2 and play on like that. But yeah, let's go on a little bit. We're going a little bit in the weeds here. And then, yeah. So after h3, they go a6. And now this is an idea that I found, we were talking about earlier. And I go rook b1. It did actually kind of like rook c5 because I thought like knight d7 was a threat, but it really isn't, because then I still have rook h5. Like if we go a little bit further here, if they go knight d7, I'm pretty sure I have rook h5. Yep. And here it's an okay position, like queen f6. Even though this rook is misplaced, it's honestly not that bad. There's not that many ways he can really attack the rook, and that's basically what I should have looked at deeper. But after rook, I did rook b1, they went knight e7. I went bishop b2. It preferred bishop e2, I think, for like g4. Because if they go like knight g6, they also kind of like that I would still have my bishop on c1 protecting this, and I castle, and then it would be like kind of playing with his bishop kind of weird, my rook having constant pressure on b, and it would be like that. But I went bishop b2, and they went c6, and this I argue it's probably two worst moves I think I played this game. I think this was my worst move because genuinely it just positionally doesn't make sense. And a lot of times I don't make like a very, very bad positional move. Like there are times I'll miss tactics, and I've done that. I do it one time in this tournament, and this one I really just missed how positionally worse it is, because it just doesn't make sense. In some ways, I'm gonna be wanting to play d5. I don't really care if they play b5. And I thought with c5 that I'm preventing b5. Like, I fully thought that, but like b5 never hurts. Like, if I play, let's say instead of c5, I play a4, which is a thing I should realize is okay. Then they play b5. I'm not really scared of b5. I'm really not. And I thought I thought I was in the game. But I just go d5. And if they go rook d8, pinning, right? I can go queen c1, and I didn't go fully into this, but I'm opening up my bishop. Really, if they ever take this, I'm able to take on b5 and be up a pawn. Also, like let's say I went queen d4, and they did cx d5. I can go b6, attacking their rook. And after bishop e6, I can always win this b5 pawn. It's very, very tricky, but it definitely makes more sense to go a move like a4 than c5 in this. Because, again, I'm giving them an outpost on d5. This bishop is never going to see the light of day, and we need that bishop to see the light of day if we're putting it on that kind of diagonal. And if you're ever worried about going down a pawn, sometimes it is worth it in positions like this to open up a bishop or to be more active. And this is a position that I should see that c5 just does not make sense. So yeah, this is my opinion one of my worst moves. They go knight fd5. I go knight e2. I think it was very hard for me to see queen h5 and accept that like after queen f6 that I would have to continue playing this like this. I think I was still trying to go for like my g4, g5 kind of ideas. So yeah, queen h5 was a better move there. They go f5. I go g3. That's fine. G3 is pretty much equal to like bishop c7. They go g5, threatening f4. And here, I think I should have seen bishop c1 here, because knight e2 protects the c3 square, and I'm wanting to put pressure on here. But I go queen d2, thinking that I can do it this way. They then go f4. See, that's why it's better to do bishop c1. But then I go queen d2, they go f4. I then go gx f4. Basically, I did like that he went f4 this fast. Because genuinely, that I haven't castled or developed this bishop, that I haven't castled and I can still put this rook on g1 makes me a little happy. That's kind of what I was trying to go for with queen d2. And he goes f4, and then I go gx. And then it wants this crazy move from him that now I understand. That I was lucky that he didn't play in the game. We were starting to get a little lower in time. At least I know he was lower than me at this point. But knight f5 is just beautiful. It really is. And I think if we had like a full classical game, this was like 30-0, I think, or 25 something. And knight f5, knight h4, threatening this is just so nice. It's hard for me to really play without having to move my queen. He potentially wants his king a little bit safer before he does gx. And after gx, I really do get good counterplay with rook g1. And that's basically what I get. And now I feel like I can breathe more in the game. Like when this happened in the game, I felt like I could breathe. And they go knight g6, I go knight xf4, they go knight xf4, I go gxf4. And really, they didn't want him to take that way. They want him to just go king ha. And now that I agree with it more. Even if I take on d5, I'm still never letting this bishop see the light of day. But when he takes on f4, he's allowing this bishop to breathe. And like when I get this bishop to breathe, it just makes everything like, you know, just better. And then he went bishop e6. I kind of want to go like very fast with this. He can't go rook here. He can't go rook here because then I have bishop c1, putting a beautiful pin. And if you're wondering why he can't take with the queen, sorry, I have bishop c4. He can't block with the bishop now. And if he goes here, I go d5. And basically, this king is he's gonna lose an exchange, and it's gonna be a very bad scenario. I actually have queen take f4, which is awesome. But yeah, that's why he can't take that pawn. So he goes bishop e6. I then go d5 because this is the right move. I need that bishop to see the light of day, and I saw it. And after bishop x d5, I go queen here. This was a bad move. I really should have seen. This is very hard. We were very low in time. But if I see rook g5, it makes sense a little bit. They still can't do knight take, right? You have to see rook, and this is what I was scared about. But I can still do queen x. The reason why is this knight is still pinned. And I'm trying to see the other merits. Like if he goes rook a e8, I then go queen e3, and I basically have the same idea if they go rook over, and this is how the game would have continued. But after queen d4, they go rook at e8, and this move is really like the only move that saves them, because I thought e3 had more merit, but really I just go fx and I'm actually fine. This check never hurts me. I go king d2, and then we would just continue this game with me threatening this, so it's kind of crazy. But after rook e8, this is where I make a mistake. I actually had more time than him, and I looked at the move that the engine recommends me. I looked at bishop c4, and I think I just didn't understand it. I really didn't, because I understand that I'm threatening take. Like that makes sense to me. But I think I somehow was scared of this, and I don't really understand why. Like after queen x, rook f7, I do have f5, and I just win the knight. And if he goes somewhere else, like he literally can't. Then yeah, and he actually told me in the game. He told me in the game that f5 was scary, and I just didn't understand that it was. I think the pressure was getting to me, and I played queen here, here, and I just repeated. And if you guys are wondering why I'm not Botez gambiting, they can't take because this rook on g1 is still protecting. And it wanted me to do this also crazy move, which I was never going to play. Like bishop c4, I understand. I now would play that type of move, but I did not understand. It wanted me to do this crazy line with bishop g7, which is so dirty engine move, which is just, yeah, it's a move. So it's like if they do knight take, if bishop x, and they go like rook g8, and I go like rook x b7. It's a move. But I did the repeat here, and this was a draw. So two draws, and they're both by perpetuals that I enforce. And really nothing I could have done to not do a perpetual in the first one. It was very equal. And this one, though, I could have maybe pushed with bishop c4 more. Now let's go to the last game, and that one was fireworks. That one was the most fireworks. Okay, not that. That was the first game. We went a little too far now. So yeah, I'm white again, and they go d4. I go d4. They go knight f6. I go for a stonewall. I go for a slightly different. Well, I guess it is a similar setup because I did do d4, e3 against the 2022. Yeah, this is I think a 1800. So he's only one around my rating closer. And they go g6. I go bishop d3. So he's going for a king's Indian setup against my stonewall, which is honestly okay. I think it's one of the best ways to go against stonewall because you put so much pressure with c5, e5. They go bishop g7. I go f4. Uh, they go d6 again, wanting c5, e5. I go knight f3. I go knight c6. I castle. They castle. And I go e4. This is sometimes not the thing you want to do here, but it actually does make sense. They're basically giving me e4 for free. This structure isn't that strong if I'm really going to be facing e5 and c5, so it really just makes sense to grab the center. I have to make sure it works, and I do. I calculate, and after e4, he played knight h5, which is actually a move I didn't anticipate. I think, what was I thinking? Was I thinking e5? He may just go e5. Yeah, he does just go e5. Like, I actually was thinking more e5 was going to be played here. I really didn't think knight h5 was going to. I thought, like, here, here, here. I thought he had, like, knight g4. Yeah. Because, like, this is such a common set. And this is actually probably one of my least favorite ways to that black can play against. So I recommend playing this. I know, I know one of you guys play the King's Indian, but I recommend playing this type of setup against the Stonewall. I think it's very annoying for a white to play against, as someone that's played against it. I think there's no other ways. Like I think I've tried d5. It's okay. Okay, this is the way I probably would have played this. And after knight fd7, I don't even know what white does here. I go fx. EX, do I know? I don't win the pawn because they can unleash. Like if I go here, here, they can go knight xd4. Which knight? I think this one. Yeah. And they basically they still have a better position, or I think black's better here. But after they don't, it likes knight b4, and I do like knight b4. And this is probably like these are just lines that they could have done, and I think they're better. Like I genuinely think e5 is better than knight h5. But they go knight h5. I go c3, strengthening this beautiful center. They then go e5. You know, it's not entirely different what they did, and I like it. I go d5, and it actually does prefer d5 here. It does say sometimes like fx is okay, but it does prefer d5 here. I go d5. They go knight e7, and he's actually preparing a nice trap with this move. And after fx dx, and then I go bishop g5. I do kind of a counterproductive move. He tells me even after the game. I do love when your opponents talk to you after the game and recommend moves. And sometimes they're absolutely correct. And sometimes they're completely wrong. But he was completely right here. C4 is just another, like, I play c3 to strengthen the structure. I should play c4 when I have the option to strengthen the structure. And so this is a move I should have seen. I think I didn't like f5 here, but really it's fine. Like I go knight c3. I really shouldn't care if they take because I can always take with a knight. And this is a structure that's honestly common with the King's Indian and something I should have looked down more instead of bishop g5. They go h6. I go bishop e3. They go knight here. And again, I missed my chance to go c4. I played queen c1. And, oh yeah, let me take away the lines here. Because genuinely they're about to do a beautiful move. I go queen c1. And here I should have played c4 again. They go g5. And this is where I would make notes. Like, multiple times I should have played c4. They go g5. Yeah, they go g5. And I go knight a3. I forgot what the move they wanted me to do. I think they wanted me to do c4 again. Yeah, so 3 times I should positionally realize c4 is a move to play. And they go g5. And then this is beautiful. After knight a3, I didn't realize the beautiful tactic. There is a tactic here, and it's very nice. Yeah, I'm just gonna pause if you guys want to see if you find it. They do win a pawn. So yep. Here they would have found they found it. It was. I mean, does it tell you here? Yeah, it does tell you. So if you want to see it in the right, it does tell you knight x d5, and it's a very nice move. Um, did it want to do the other knights? Oh, I want c6 too. Okay, c6 is just also good. Oh, so if you guys found c6 or knight x d5, that's also good. Um, I thought after knight x d4, but I have knight x f7. Wow. Okay. Um, wow. Okay, that also would have been a more difficult move to go against. Um, and yeah, that would have been a game too, because he's still up a pawn, I think, at the end of this. Or I guess it is equal, but like I don't like that his bishop is the dragon that this piece is. Because after like yeah, queen d5, this is just not a great position for white in my opinion. But yeah, after knight x d5, I do the best move, which is take. And then he goes e4. And this is where I think I was so frazzled at the board. You guys know how that happens sometimes when they get a tactic and you're just frazzled that you didn't see it, and you kind of don't do the best moves to maybe counter it. I went um, bishop c4, and really bishop e2. I think I could have seen. And the idea is if he goes exf3, I go bishop x. And I put some nice pressure on this. And they can't ever take, if you guys are wondering. Well, they can, but then I just go like rook d1, and it's really not like the best pawn to grab. And I do like that I have my bishops a little bit more active. This knight on a3 isn't as weird as it could have been. But I go bishop c4. There's also this crazy move, if you guys did want to see it, where it was knight xg5. To me, I would have never played this, but it's good to look at it. If they go ex d3, right, I just go back to f3. They take here. I can now take this because I have this queen c1 and bishop over here. And if they do here, I can still do bishop take h6. And this position does look a little bit nicer. I think I should have seen that this is a sack, but it's a sack that kind of makes sense. Because after bishop e2 and knight xd5 here, I also have bishop xg5. So this is another way to keep the bishops active with the piece sack, but in no way am I expecting myself to completely beat myself up for not seeing that move. And you should never beat yourself up. You should be all like, I didn't see it, it was a funny game, and now maybe I could have seen this or this or this. And good on my opponent for finding that tactic, because that was a beautiful tactic. But after bishop c4, they go exf3. I go rook x. They go knight x. I then go bishop c5, trying to really provoke counterplay. And why I went fast is because those were pretty much the best moves. Like bishop c4 is a bad move, but he does the right move by doing exf3. I do the best move, rook take, and they go knight x. And here I try to do counterplay with bishop c5. I know my position's worse, but I'm really just trying to keep in it. They go rook e8. I go queen f1, trying to put pressure on that f7 square. And I'm starting to like my position a little bit more. It's obviously worse for me, but I am trying to, put my best foot forward and continue playing. They go bishop e6. I go rook d1. They go c6. And here it wanted this crazy move bishop x d5. And I really didn't like it. Like, I didn't really like that I was basically giving his bishop a finer square, but then c4 would have basically been good. And now I see after bishop x, rook x, rook x, queen x, this is a good position. It's at least a lot better than what I had, and I can maybe see it. But if they go, I think, I also just didn't like this either. Because I thought here was maybe a threat, and I would have to play h3, and I really liked his bishops more than my knight and bishop. And so I don't I think it was practical and not trading. Like I go knight c2, and I think it was fine to Wait, does he not have just bishop g4? Oh wow, yeah, no, okay, okay. And now looking back at the game, I have to realize that that move is coming. Can I not go h3? Okay, I kind of like h3 and c6, and I'm okay with this. This I'm actually happy with. So I should have seen h3. H3 was better than rook d1, and because he does just miss bishop g4. But I go knight c2, and here, yeah, this is where bishop x d5. I still think h3 is just better here. Oh, guys, yeah, I mixed up my lines. Yeah, h3 here is better than I think than I think bishop x g5, just for the practical chance of keeping pieces on the board. After knight c2, though, he doesn't go bishop g4, he goes queen a5. And he kind of allows me back in the game if I find bishop d4. It kind of keeps, it trades off this powerful piece, it makes my rook more active, and it really gets my bishop out of a funky square. I didn't find that. I did b4, which I thought was also kind of fun. Because he tried to say that he wanted to do like queen a4 and stuff like this. I just really liked bishop b3, and I thought it gave me too much. He does find the right move, which is queen c7, keeping the pressure on the board. He has it better. I go h3, not wanting bishop g4, and I went h3, and I knew like it's kind of when you're at the board and you're just like not wanting someone to play a move because you know it's completely winning. After I went h3, like I knew knight x c3 was completely winning. It's just one of those moves that's where you're completely stopping any play I have. You're winning another pawn, and you're basically saying I have nothing, and I really don't have anything in this position because it's just he's hurting my rook. The pressure that I thought I had on f7 is just not real, and it's just completely crushing if he finds knight x c3. But he plays rook a d8, and it's like he's giving me play to keep playing in the game, so I keep playing. After rook a d8, I go knight d4, centralizing my knight, and basically preventing this bishop from having two pieces on this. So he goes bishop x h3. If you went bishop x d4 and then I went bishop x, this would have still been a better position for him. But I think he thought that there was a cool tactic, because I thought there was a cool tactic too for a little bit, but then I realized after calculating, there's nothing, right? After here, b6, I thought I could at least, oh no, there is tactic, because I didn't realize that b6 was there. If we turn off the lines, because it does make it ruin it a little bit, if you really look at this position, I thought that he just sacked a piece fully, but after b6, I realized that I have to take the piece, the bishop, that he does have b6. And the game actually wanted this crazy move, and I actually like the move I did, even though it is a mistake, because it does. I thought it was very confusing for black, and it was. But it wants knight b5. And to be honest, it didn't really make sense to me even looking at the analysis, but now I kind of understand it a little bit more. They're putting pressure on this queen, right? So they kind of have to take this knight. If they don't, let's say they don't take the knight. That's like the way to look at it the most. Let's say they go like queen b7. We can go through lines a little bit here. We go knight d6, and basically we're still putting pressure on this queen, and then we get this bishop out that we need, right, to be up a full piece. If they go, I thought the most logical was queen, oh, sorry, queen b8. I then still go bishop x d5, and they can't take this now because then I have bishop x f7, winning exchange. And if they do, let's say don't go to queen, they go here, I just fully get that piece back, and if they take here, I have bishop x f7 again, being able to win in exchange. They go king h8, bishop x e8, rook x e8. I would be up 1 point of material up in exchange for basically them having one pawn. This would be better. So knight b5, crazy move, but it does work, and that is one way I could have played it. But I went knight x c6. I went a crazy move that it kind of was the same idea of remove the defender of the knight, and that one was removing it that way, but removing the defender of the knight so I can put pressure on that d5 square. Basically saying that if he goes queen x c6, which is what he does, I go rook x f7, and basically it gives me more pressure, or more, to me, gave me counterplay in a position that I did not think I had counterplay in. because I'm putting pressure on this f7 square with this queen, bishop, and rook. And after bx c5, I have rook x d5. I have rook x d5. Wait, sorry. I did have rook x d5. And what's happens here is if they go rook x, I now have queen f3. And they don't actually have rook d8, d1, because I can do queen x, and I would be in the same in material, and this king is not happy. But if we go queen, I went queen f3 for a different idea, basically saying that if you move this knight, I will, like, even if you move it here, right, I can actually go rook x, right, and I'm still going to win the queen. So there's a lot of confusing lines here. It's very hard to play as black here, because I kind of made it like a little bit trickier. If he goes positions like, I thought queen a6 or like queen here was an idea, and I'm trying to think of what it wants me to do. Yeah, I would have played like rook x d5 and continued on this way, and that he can't go rook x because then I go queen x, and if he goes queen x f7, I have rook x d8, and if he takes, he can't take because the bishop is pinning it. So, and then I thought queen e6 was one way to play this, and then after rook x d5, I thought he could go rook x d5, bishop x. He has queen e1, and then we would have continued off this. But instead, I went queen f3. He went bishop x, and he allows me a crazy move, which it tells you queen f5. And after queen f5, there's no way to stop mate. And somehow I swindled this game into a position where I am winning. It's cool mating net. And after rook e1, rook take. This is crazy. He found some counterplay in here, and I actually have to be very correct. So I can't go like king h2. Like, this is completely losing, because then he goes queen d6, and then I would have to move this queen, because if I go here, he has knight here, and he wins it that way. So I actually had to be careful. I have to take, right? It's telling you. But to me, I thought this was crazy, because after rook x, I thought there was, like, I had to play very correct here, because then they play bishop d4, and if I play like queen here, I'm getting mated in two. Basically, anywhere I go, he does queen here. So I actually had to be very careful here, and I had to find the one. I think it's only one move. Oh, there's two moves. It actually wanted queen h2 too. But I had to be careful, and I did find rook e3, which is the correct move. And the idea is, of course, he can't go knight here because mate. But if he goes bishop x, right, I can just go queen f1, king f1. And there's no knight check. There's no way to actually hurt my king here. And after the move he plays, knight f6, I just go queen g6 here, mate. And that was a good way to finish it. I basically drew, and won. And I did tell you guys that I would go over quickly, because honestly, I think doing the analysis can help if you want to, or doing game review can help if you just want like a quick review of it, because this was a very in-depth review. And I think sometimes if you really just want to go through quick, this is a way to do it if you have if you have chess.com like this. Yeah, if I can, there we go, and then there we go. So we'll go over this one real quick first, just a quick game review. So yeah, there was no, I think it was black, right? Yeah, this was the London. Yeah, all the way through, there was no inaccuracies, no mistakes, no misses or anything. It was just pure equal. So there wasn't much I really learned from this game, except that I was able to use a lot that I used from the London. This one, I learned a lot because there's a lot more mistakes. I learned that, right, that I, like, maybe I needed to realize c4 is okay, rook b5, h4 ideas. The rook was okay there. I just needed to play like h4 and stuff like this. And I realized the biggest thing with c5 to me was a huge mistake. Like if we go here, c5 is a huge mistake. And now I realize that a4 would have been better. And maybe even bishop. I think bishop e2 is also okay. Yeah. Like any move, just c5 was horrible. And then bishop c4 was a move I think I should have realized. This also I should have played like rook g5. But also I should have played bishop c4 earlier. And then, yeah, that's the final for that one. And then let's go to this one. Last one. Last one, last one. Yeah, yeah, this move, this game was crazy in that I really thought I was losing for a lot of it. But I was able to swindle. I needed to realize c4 was ideas here too. Well, earlier was a4, this was c4. And then I needed to realize about this tactic that he did. So c4 was the main mistake that I was making. And then when they got the tactic, I needed to play something like bishop e2. And instead bishop e2 or knight take g5. And then other than that, I was kind of okay. Like here, I think this is the only other one. Maybe knight b5 would have been cleaner. And this, I kind of understand why I didn't see it, but basically it had the same sense that I had, which was I wanted to remove the defender of this knight, but it is just a better move and that I don't lose as much material. But yeah, I hope me going over my games helped you guys when you guys go over your games. And I'm trying to think of, other than looking at a game review, if you guys don't have that, I would really just put your PGNs, like you can put the PGNs in chess.com or somewhere else, and then basically they will give you the analysis, like Lee Chess does it free. And then going over the way I tried to do it with having the eval bar up, or not even the eval, but having the lines up, it kind of tells you that basically what I was thinking was winning or losing or draw or equal was wrong, right? And now I need to see that that positionally was worse or that tactically was that position. This was a very long lesson. I hope you guys learned a lot from it, and hope you guys played Blitz. Maybe even we're playing Blitz or Bughouse or Rapid during this, but I will see you guys next week, and Coach Hug out.